There you go. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of the KC Sports Authority podcast. It's been 2 weeks since we've all recorded and trying to get things going. We're up on YouTube right now, Facebook, trying to get this up on Twitter right now. It is giving me issues, so hopefully those of you on Twitter will find us here shortly. But Keegan Russell, JB Merker here with you, and we'll hopefully get Austin on here in a bit as he is traveling back from covering some high school basketball. JB, it's March. You know what that means?
It's March.
It's tournament time. We've got Big 12 tournament going on right now. We got Selection Sunday coming up. The season has officially ended, the regular season. KU finishes third in the Big 12. And, man, there's a lot we got to get into. I have so many takes, thoughts, comments, points I want to bring up with you. And, of course, we'll get Austin's take later. Where do we start? Do we go season recap, Big 12?
Season recap, yeah, like Big 12 recap. I mean, we finished third. We were picked to finish fifth. Is that right?
Yeah, fifth or sixth.
Fifth or sixth. Wasn't there a three-way tie for third? Like, I feel like we had the same record as Iowa State and Texas Tech, I think. Gosh, I should have probably looked at the Big 12 standings before we hit record, but
Bob's been waiting patiently. We too have been waiting patiently to get this to get back on and record.
Appreciate the support every week, Bob. I don't know how to feel about finishing third. The whole I don't mind the tie, but I really feel like we should have. I don't know. I feel like we had a shot at second. I feel like we had a legitimate shot at sole ownership of third place because we have this tendency to lose games that we shouldn't be losing. And we lost two terrible games late in the season that really kind of killed a lot of our momentum. We were on, at one point in this Big 12 run, I think it was a 9-game winning streak. And
yeah,
man, I mean, we felt like, and rightfully so, we were talking at the time, dude, we could play our way onto the 2 seed line at bare minimum, maybe even the 1 seed. It was in the realm of possibility because we still had a few top games on our schedule remaining. We could have beaten Arizona on the road. Obviously, we lost that game. No major surprise there, but I think losing to Cincinnati was probably like the nail in the coffin for me. You just can't lose that game. And so this team, while we have had some great wins, we have floundered at some of the weirdest times. And you might look back to how we started losing to West Virginia. I don't know. It's just so weird. If you look at the season as a whole, we've lost games that we shouldn't have lost seemingly more often than we do in past seasons. And we've won games that we didn't really expect to win, almost seemingly a little bit more often than we might expect with a roster where we don't feel like we have as much star power as we've had in previous seasons. It's just been a weird year. So, but I'm like, overall, I'm happy to finish third. I just hate how it happened.
Yeah, like it almost makes me more frustrated we finished third because you pull a couple games back our way and you're finishing second in the Big 12, which, second, third doesn't really change a whole lot. I don't know, but I do tell you what's good about it is it definitely helps us with Big 12 tournament. 3 seed, you're most likely getting TCU tomorrow night. They are playing Oklahoma State as we speak. Double check the score of that right now. It is 34-33 Oklahoma State in the first half with 5.5 minutes left to go.
Okay.
Either way, that you feel pretty good about tomorrow night at least.
I do.
Then you get Houston. I mean, if you had to play between Houston and Arizona on your side of the bracket and Iowa State, I'd take the Houston matchup personally.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but Houston's gonna have to go against a hot BYU team with AJ DeBonsa looking to just prove everybody wrong about their slide. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Big 12 tournament expectations, of course, but you got to feel pretty good heading into the tournament where we're sitting. Let's go back to a little bit of the season. Finished 22-9. You know, all the Big 12 awards came out, which definitely have to talk about because I have some frustrations with.
We got some thoughts.
But Flory wins Defensive Player of the Year. Rightfully so. He was fantastic all season long. Shot blocker, paint presence, switching on ball screens 1-5. There were so many games. I think to that Houston game at home where he just physically kept guys from getting in spots to just change the entire way they played. Like Houston, for example, could not get anything going downhill in the paint, and it completely changed how they play a game. So Flory, rightfully so, Defensive Player of the Year. Melvin Council, Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. It is hard to argue that a player like Melvin had more of an impact immediately to the team as an outsider coming in than him. There's some other guys you could throw in there. And the awards to me are kind of odd. Like Newcomer of the Year, well, a Freshman of the Year would also be a Big 12 newcomer. So how do you? I know there's some differentiation there, but those two guys get it. Flory gets all first team nod. Darren Peterson second team. I was a little disappointed and surprised that Melvin Council did not get first or second team. And I was also kind of surprised that Trey White did not finish higher.
Yeah.
He struggled for about a 2-week stretch, but from the KU side of things, no complaints there for me. I think you could still argue that the skill level, the talent level of Darren Peterson could have thrown him still in the conversation for Big 12 Player of the Year.
As much as there's an argument for that, though,
frustration with.
As much as there's an argument for throwing him into that conversation, there's an equal and opposite argument for taking him completely out of the conversation. And I guess at the end of the day, that's a conversation in and of itself. But man, I mean, when you watched him play, when he was on his game, when he was shooting lights out, he was better than anybody in the Big 12. He really was. He had his shining moments. And unfortunately, they just didn't really stay consistent. And he didn't stay consistent. And he didn't play in as many games as he could have. How many?
There we go. We are up on Twitter now.
Woo!
Live stream,
Thank you. Hello, Twitter. Love that you still call it Twitter.
I'm old school.
Yeah, we're a little old school here. Ain't no X. No, Twitter. Anywho, I what's the final tally? Do you know how many games Darren played for us this
19.
season?
19, missed 11.
Missed 11. Wow. How many of those were Big 12 games that he missed?
Honestly, he played.
He played a lot, but he also I guess the part two to that question would be how many games did he play only in the first half but not in the second?
Sure, if you talk about the games he missed at K-State, home against Arizona are the two that I can for sure think of. Did he play at Westphal? He played at Westphal. Yeah, he played. I think he just missed the two Big 12 games now that I think about it, which is kind of impressive.
I wonder how many of those he only played one half's worth of basketball in, though. I mean, you could tell by the end of the season.
He probably still missed at least 2-3 more games because of not playing the second half.
Yeah,
which obviously is what hurt him with some of the awards. Like you have to play.
Oh yeah, you got to play.
When he's on the court, he's still I thought he was still one of the 3 best players in the Big 12. But let's talk about it, and we'll have to get Austin's thoughts later too, and love your guys' thoughts in the comments. Jaden Bradley of Arizona gets the nod for Big 12 Player of the Year. Not a fan of that. Did not really. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a good player on a really good team, but this award's supposed to go to the best player in the conference.
Yeah.
And to me, there's no way Jaden Bradley is top 3 best player in the conference. I don't get it.
What are the 3 names you have above him, Keegan?
AJ DeBonta, Darren Peterson, and then I would honestly argue that Flory had a better season
True.
than Jaden Bradley when it comes to statistics and whatnot. Kingston Flemings would be up there, but I think Burries on Arizona actually had a better year statistically, was the better player than Bradley. I mean, Bradley was third on his team in scoring. I mean, I haven't gone back and looked at the numbers, but this has to be one of the worst stats across the board to winning Big 12 Player of the Year. 13.4 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 1.6 steals. Braden Burries averaged 16 a game, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, shooting 37% from the 3-point line, 50% from the floor. I don't like it. I didn't like it
It
at
makes no
all.
sense. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. I feel like
AJ
at the end of the
DeBonsa
day,
averaged 24 a game, and I don't even care that like it's basically become what professional awards have too, where it goes to the team that finishes the best in the conference. It's going to be the most liked player from that team. Jaden Bradley, tremendous player. He's fantastic talent, but he's not the best player in the Big 12. DeBonsa, to me, was the best player in the Big 12. He dominated, and especially after Richie Saunders goes out for the rest of the year, takes off even
so
more with that.
given that logic that you just said,
And I
where
get
it
it.
just
They finished way towards the bottom of the Big 12 after all those injuries.
yeah.
But DeBonsa, night in and night out, was the best player on the court in the Big 12 this year.
So
Most consistent.
in a world where it seems that it just goes to the favorite player on the best team, you got to think if Kansas had somehow magically finished first place in the Big 12, it's probably Melvin Council, who's Big 12 Player of the Year, like,
Or it could have been Flory.
or Flory. It really, yeah, it could have been either one of them.
I
But
mean, if you
I just
look
went
at
by most liked.
just to go back to Flory, the case for Flory, you already give him Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So come on,
You can
ESPN.
give them both.
ESPN, everything about ESPN is just absolute garbage. Their app is terrible, their streaming's terrible, their website sucks. They got to figure this crap out. But Flory finishes 13.8 points, 9 rebounds, 2.7 blocks, shoots 64% from the floor. Again, statistically right there with Jaden Bradley, but you could argue had just as big of an impact, if not more. I mean, Trey White had better stats on the season. Darren Peterson, in the 20 games he played, better stats on the season. So I just didn't like it. Didn't feel right. Didn't feel justifiable. Not even the best player on his team. I don't remember if this one is how much of it's coaches voting versus media voting, but he didn't pass the eye test to me as best player of the conference.
Agreed.
Just didn't like again. Melvin had a very similar year to Jaden Bradley, and you could argue impacted winning. How many times do we say Melvin took over a game late to close it out? So again, it's going to go to whoever finishes with the best record. I get that aspect of it, but not even the best player in his team. One thing I also didn't like, and I think this was also unanimous across all the fan base and everybody in college basketball as a whole, is Big 12 did 10 players on the all Big 12 first team. Don't like that.
Why not?
You can't play 10 guys. Like it's always been a 5-man. You're building the best 5-man rotation on the first team. Second team is the second 5, and then third team / honorable mention. So
with a conference this large, though,
that's why they're doing it. Which that's why I'm not super upset about it. But 10 players,
it makes it look
lot.
It makes it look it makes you look way worse when you don't make first team, second team, all Big 12. When there's 10 guys, it's like
that's true. That's true. That's a good way to look at it.
Like I must have been far down that list. Like there's some KU players that are arguably, should have been in one of those lists, and they were snubbed.
Yeah. Again, I think you could still argue Darren Peterson could have been first team. I'm going to pull up the team again real quick just to see, because obviously you have to then play the game of who do you take off. All Big 12 first team: Jaden Bradley, Braden Burries, Krivas, all from Arizona, rightfully so. DeBonsa, Emmanuel Sharp, Kingston Flemings, Joshua Jefferson, Flory Badunga, Christian Anderson, JT Toppin. I don't know who you take off from there to put Darren Peterson on. But maybe that's okay. Maybe Joshua Jefferson from Iowa State, but all Big 12 third team doesn't even get a Trey White. And again, I know Trey struggled for a portion of the Big 12 play, but down the stretch was huge. Melvin Council doesn't even make all Big 12 third team. Baylor, who was terrible this year, Cameron Carr makes it. Themis Folks had a pretty good season with UCF. Xavier Edmonds with TCU, but both those teams finished further down the conference. So to me, again, Melvin Council should have been on that. Heck, PJ Haggerty, terrible season K-State had, but PJ Haggerty was probably one of the 4 best players in the conference. So like for me, the whole point is I don't know how much stock we take in these awards. I know when it comes to jersey retirement, it has a big impact. Big 12 Player of the Year, I think is an auto add to the rafters. I don't know about Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, just didn't completely agree with all the awards. Am I gonna lose sleep over it? No, but that was just a one thought I had for sure. Let's talk Darren Peterson. Post Oklahoma State, post Bill Self comments of
you gotta
play. You gotta finish games, you gotta play. He's played every game since. He's played pretty much the entire game. He's played late into games that we were up big, late in the games that we were down big. Didn't have the most efficient last 2 weeks of the season, but
nope.
Tops off the season at home against a terrible K-State team, has a huge game. Probably his best all-around game he's had, offensively, defensively, moving the ball around, rebounding, all that. I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty confident right now going into postseason play that all the DP stuff is behind us. He is locked in. He's ready to go. He looks healthy. He's looked good the last 2 weeks. Tough conference that played him very tough defensively. Didn't give him any open looks. Didn't attack as much as we would have liked to see. I thought he settled for jumpers quite a bit the last 2 weeks. But going into tournament play, you could argue you are now getting the healthiest version of the best player in the conference when you need it most. Feel the same?
I see your point. Counter argument is we've seen Darren Peterson against some of the worst teams in the league, and he's balled out. And you know where I'm going. Against the top teams in the league, he has floundered. He has not really done too much, and it's been really frustrating because we know his talent. It's a little concerning. It's frustrating. It's concerning when you have a guy like Darren Peterson and he's not really as flashy against the best teams. And of course, yeah, to an extent that's expected. But it's almost, I don't want to say night and day, but it's almost night and day. Like I don't know.
That's true. I mean,
if it's
tougher
because teams are
competition,
doubling.
tougher defense. Houston was very physical
Yeah.
defense. Iowa State physical defense. We didn't get to see him against Arizona.
You know, when other teams take him out of his rhythm, when they purposefully attack him, he hasn't always made the best choices, hasn't always executed, and so it's that to that effect. It's been a little scary to think like, well, okay, if we somehow manage to have a deep run in March, how is he going to look when we make it to the Elite Eight? How is he going to look if we make it to the Final Four?
Playing 2 games in 3 days. I mean, Big 12 tournament. Let's say we win tomorrow night, then you're playing back-to-back Friday night. If you win Friday, sure, I think that part of it. But I think just from the eye test, the last couple of games, physically, even if he hasn't been super efficient up until the K-State game. I think he had like a 4 out of 5 game stretch where he shot below 40% from the floor, missed a lot of threes. Physically, he looks like he's got some of his explosiveness back. He hasn't been settling as much. Where like he took a lot of threes this year when he could have drove. But like I thought, some of the K-State game, you saw him attack a lot more, get downhill, and I feel like we're about to see the real Darren Peterson for the first time when it matters the most, under the bright lights in Kansas City, everyone watching nationally, and it's going to be, I think, like Remy Martin, like March run from Darren. Different player. I don't think Darren has anything he needs to prove or has to prove other than to the fan base that, hey, I'm locked in when it matters most. And like regular season, it's behind us. You're about to get 110%
Hey,
Darren Peterson moving forward. And I think that's scary for the Big 12 tournament for everybody else. And I think
yeah,
that's scary for March that this Kansas team is now, we're probably going to be a 4 seed, maybe a 3 seed, maybe a 5 seed, somewhere in there, depending on how Big 12 tournament goes. But a team that's certainly capable of making a deep run. And one, if you're looking at your bracket, like I don't want to face if I'm an opposing lower half of the bracket, like I don't want to face a Kansas team in the second round with a healthy Darren Peterson. Like, I mean, he could go off at any given moment. So I think that has me excited. That has me looking forward to tournament play. Again, we haven't had this for a couple seasons now where we've actually looked forward to March Madness from a KU perspective because we had no confidence the team we had was going to do anything. And this team, when they're playing at the level they're capable of, I was telling my barber today, I was like, I have 8 teams, I think, that feel like a team that could win the national championship or at least make a Final Four. And obviously, Homer pick here, but a healthy Kansas team with Darren Peterson going is one of the most dangerous teams in the country. We have one of the top 5 defenses in the country. Flory is playing at an All-American level. Melvin Council can close out. He can defend just about anybody from the opposing team's guards. Trey White is back to where he was early in the season, not just offensively, but getting rebounds. You still have some question marks around the bench. You got to have Tiller show up, but you've got a squad that could make some serious noise, and that should be concerning for opposing fan bases, in my opinion.
for sure. I don't know if you want to jump into the seed talk for March quite yet, but maybe Big 12 tournament predictions.
Yeah. Let's go to Big 12 tournament prediction. So TCU or Oklahoma State tomorrow. I don't think either one matters. I think they're going to come out and look good tomorrow night. Oklahoma State, I would prefer because they're coming off of back-to-back nights. So they might have a little bit more tired legs. But yeah. Jamie Dixon doesn't scare me. We saw him mismanage the TCU KU game this year. Historically has not done very well in Big 12 tournaments himself. So I feel pretty good about tomorrow night. Everyone's there. I think for me, I'm very curious to see what the fan turnout's like tomorrow for teams like Arizona, Texas Tech. Long travel. Tech, no JT Toppin. How are you feeling about their chances? Arizona fans, that's a really, really long distance for them to come. Iowa State, is going to be there, but K-State's done. They're out. So you don't have any of that local fandom. So I'm very curious to see how that plays into us. I mean, Houston, how many Houston fans are traveling up here? I think they'll have a good fan base up here still, but the atmosphere will definitely play a huge factor. And I think tomorrow night you feel pretty good. Post tomorrow night,
not good.
Houston's tough all the time.
Yeah.
But I guess let me ask you this then, because it's obviously going to impact their seeding. I know we've talked about this several times throughout the year of the importance of winning the Big 12 season title. Yep. Where are you right now for this team specifically for March Madness? What do you need to see this week?
Ooh.
Do you need to see anything in the next couple of days out of the big? Like, if we lose tomorrow, does that change anything for you for March Madness? If we win tomorrow, does it change? Like, what do you need to see out of the next couple of days from the Big 12 tournament to either solidify your stance on postseason play or to push you over the top that this team could be making a deep run?
I feel like this year's Big 12 tournament is arguably the most important Big 12 tournament that Kansas has been in the entirety of its Big 12 legacy thus far.
Wow.
I know it's a lot to say, but the thing is, it's because of the position we're in right now. We're the 3 seed of the Big 12 tournament. But looking at March Madness, we're in need of some work to do if we want to have a 3 seed in March Madness. And right now, you mentioned at the beginning, we're really looking at more of like a 4 seed. If we were to lose to TCU, I think it's guaranteed we get a 5 seed. And I say TCU, but TCU or Oklahoma State, whoever wins that game. I think it's guaranteed we get a 5 seed. We want the 3, not just because we want a better seed than 4, because I do feel like we've had a strong enough season to be like, we're a 3 seed. Like, this has been a 3 seed type of year for us. I genuinely feel like that. The fact of the matter is, those losses to Cincinnati and West Virginia and Arizona State, oh my God, the loss to Arizona State.
Those hurt a lot.
Those have hurt us so much, and they've bumped us down.
But you also can balance that with crushing Iowa State at home, crushing Houston at home, beating Arizona at home, going and beating Texas Tech on the road. Like, I think it balances it. Right now,
the committee's going to look at it like, what have you done for me lately? And what have we done is just completely lose stupid games that we shouldn't. And I'm trying to avoid a matchup in the Sweet 16 with a 1 seed.
True. That's where I was going to go. By the way, Oklahoma State's up 3 at half, 46-43.
Okay. I'll take that.
I'm sure by the time we end this pod, we'll know who we're playing tomorrow night. But yeah,
I would almost hope it's TCU. Like, I would hope it's TCU only because, like, the better the
lack
win,
of momentum,
the better,
maybe because Oklahoma State would have momentum.
It's just about the better team at that point. Like, I don't care.
You're talking about resume builder.
I'm talking about resume. Like, I feel like we need everything. I think we need to, at minimum, to get a 3 seed. I think we need to go to the title game. I think we need to beat the winner of Oklahoma State and TCU, and then go ahead and beat Houston. And if we lose the title game of the Big 12 tournament, I think we can still get a 3 seed.
Yeah, but three seeds is what I want to.
Yeah.
So as I look around the rest of college basketball, and let's just go through some teams here. Likely 1 seeds: Arizona, Michigan, Florida, Duke. Likely your 4 1 seeds, in my opinion. Outside of the top 4 seeds, I think there's a lot. There's a tier difference. I think the 2s and 3s and 4 seeds, majority of those teams you could flip flop. So I'm not as concerned matchup wise. Like, I think if we had to face UConn, we've done it once. We can figure out how to match up better now. Not as worried about that. A team like an Illinois team, I think we could actually match up well against them. Michigan State, I think another team we could match up well against. Some of these other 2 seeds. Iowa State, Houston, again, we've seen all that. So if you get the 3 seed, yes, you get to avoid, at least through the first weekend and a half.
Yeah.
You get to avoid the Arizona, the Michigan. Michigan, I want no part with. No part with. Don't feel like we would match up well against them. Duke, I'm not. I mean, I'm still. Duke's really good, but without Caleb Foster, that does change things a little bit for them. So getting that 3 seed would be crucial. And again, to me, yeah, I think you have to win 2 to get a 3 seed. I don't think just tomorrow night gets it done, unless some of these other teams just ahead of them in the rankings cripple and burn in their tournament.
We would need a lot, yeah. I think if we win the whole thing, we guarantee a 3. I don't think.
Do you think that would propel them to a 2 seed?
No, I don't think so.
Any scenario where that propels them to a 2 seed.
All the other 2 seeds lose early.
Yeah.
All the other 2 seeds lose early in their conference championships. Sure.
Like, to me, I'd rather, if I had to pick right now, I would go 3 seed first priority, 5 seed second priority, 4th seed third, just because of those potential matchups. I know there's the 5-12 matchups, upsets that happen all the time, but yeah, 3 seed feels like the sweet spot. I say that, but the way KU's bracket falls for every year the last couple of years has always been, doesn't matter what their seed is, 2 of the 4 teams we say desperately we don't want in our bracket end up in our bracket in the first weekend anyway. So we'll still probably get matched up against somebody that gives us trouble. But
you mentioned the 5-12 matchup. That kind of is another supporting point of mine as to why this is so important for us to do well. Because the classic 5-12 matchup, if we are staring in the face of a 5-12 matchup, we're the 5 seed. I guarantee every single March Madness YouTuber, every single ESPN analyst, everybody's going to be like, oh, keep your eye on this Kansas team who has just been sucking as of late. And here they've got this really tough 5-12 matchup. That's an upset alert. Upset alert. Like the words Kansas and upset alert are going to be next to each other, and all for the wrong reasons for the next week and a half plus. If we end up losing and then go into March having a 5-12 matchup, I'm not about it. I don't want to see it. We're
Yep.
going to be on the wrong end of a 5-12 matchup, and at that point, we might as well just lose and get the season over with. That's all I'm saying. If we can avoid that, if we can get to the championship game of the Big 12 tournament and have a good shot at a 3 seed, then all of a sudden I feel like we can make a Final Four run. It's that polarizing.
Yeah, it gives you the confidence for sure. And again, that's I think why I feel good right now, positive vibes that this team can do. I mean, again, last 2 years, those guys did not like playing with each other. They didn't wear their emotions on their sleeve. They didn't play for the name on the front as a collective unit. This team just looks like they enjoy playing basketball, have a lot of fun playing with each other on the court. That it just seems like they're going to want it more. Like, I don't know if you could say last year's team wanted to go win the Big 12. I don't even know if you could say last year's team wanted to go make a deep run in March. Like, just it was a collection of guys that didn't care. They were there for checks and get them to the next spot. This team feels like they're willing to put in the work and want the pride of winning. I mean, we saw, again, we've talked about it, I think in the last episode, the last couple of big wins they've had at the end of the season, they're doing like the OKC Thunder post game where they're all like, they just look like they're having all this fun together. So that the chemistry between the group, it just, to me, it seems like they're going to be locked in. They're going to come out, make a statement tomorrow night. I'm not saying that I'm confident they'll win the Big 12 tournament as a whole. It feels like an Iowa State Big 12 tournament to me, just the way the bracket could shape up for them. Because Arizona, I don't think loses anything by losing the Big 12 tournament. Neither does Houston. Iowa State's got more to gain than they have to lose. But it feels like a squad that could certainly get it done, have the pieces to get it done. If Darren is coming out looking solid and is focused and dialed in, again, this is a scary team heading into March. So very good shot this weekend. Jayhawk edits those in there. Will either of you be at the tournament? I was hoping to go Friday, whether KU wins or loses tomorrow night. I don't know if that's going to happen. Definitely not going to be going tomorrow night. I won't be able to unless somebody wants to give me tickets for free because they're pretty pricey right now. But Friday, maybe if certain teams lose and fans want to sell tickets, it'd be a lot of fun.
I'm a terrible fan.
I've only been to the Big 12 tournament once in my life, I think.
Okay, I feel a little bit better. It's just
Yeah.
I've never been to a Big 12 tournament game ever. I feel terrible, but like, I mean, I've gone to all the home games at KU. Like, maybe not this season, but I'm just so used to going to home games for KU that I'm like, do I want to go to Kansas City, downtown Kansas City, and navigate all that?
If I wasn't, whether I was like, if I didn't have to work, first off, I would like go up there and just hang out all day and watch games in Power and Light, and then maybe try and get in. Because it is fun. Big 12 tournament weekend's great. Even if your team's not playing, like you're watching good basketball. It's like if you're going Friday night, you've got KU, theoretically KU, Houston, Iowa State, Arizona. What two better games could you find on a Friday night back to back than those two matchups right there? So Friday for sure would be a lot of fun. Saturday you could see, depending on who ends up in the Big 12 championship game Saturday, a lot of fans disappearing out. So that game could get cheaper, but no, as of right now, don't plan on being there. Hoping that could change. Is there anything that could happen this weekend in the Big 12 tournament that would just really leave a sour taste in your mouth or give you no confidence that this team's doing anything in the NCAA tournament? Because to me, like, the only thing I think I could take away as a negative from this weekend is if Darren doesn't play or tweak something. Like, outside of that, if they lose a close one tomorrow night, I don't think it changes my outlook. I think that would be the only concerning factor is, can we get through the weekend, whether we play 1 game, 2 game, 3 games, and Darren looks fine. That's the only thing I care about this weekend.
I think if we lose our first game, we lose our first game in the March Madness tournament as well. I think it's that important,
You think
and
KU's the upper seed that
I think we
gets
get
upset?
upset by the 12 seed. We're a 5 seed. I think that's going to happen in March. If we end up losing to Oklahoma State / TCU, one of the two, um, it's just how you finish the season, and we are not finishing very well. And now I know that's not always the case. Gosh, I want to say it was UCLA a few years ago, or maybe it was just the fact that they were like an 11 seed at one point.
Yeah, they had the wild run play-in game
Well,
to
they
the
had,
Final Four.
yeah, they went from playing all the way to the Final Four, but I'm wondering if that was the same year that they just like were also doing so terribly to finish out the season, that it was just really odd that, or I could be
That sounds about
completely.
right because I think that team blew a lot of games late in back then Pac-12 play.
That's probably why they ended up at the 11th
Yeah,
seed. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
but I think
It,
didn't
I'm
they
hoping it's
win?
them.
I think they won the Pac-12 tournament, which like
I
led
wouldn't
them
know,
to. I might be wrong on that, but
but
yeah,
like
they
that's kind of what I'm talking about
impressive
though,
run.
because it's like I feel like there have been teams, whether it was that UCLA example or not, or if I'm even right on the example of UCLA, whether it's them or not, doesn't matter. There has been teams in the past with March Madness that have kind of tripped and stumbled to the finish line, and despite that, went on a magical run. I mean, I just don't see that for us. I think if we're stumbling, I feel like every Bill Self team that has stumbled to the finish line, we haven't done that hot. We were ready to go. Either in the first or second game, we were done. I mean, it's like, dude, I don't know. It also feels like a lifetime since we've even made it to the second weekend. Like,
Telling me, these last 3 years have really crushed everybody because
sucks.
you had back-to-back postseasons just with bad teams. You have the Kevin McCullough injury the year before. You also have the Bill Self health scare. You get matched up with the most athletic teams possible against your unathletic teams. It's like you have to go back to the national championship year as the last like fun March for KU basketball. So it's been long enough now that I think for some fans, and if JB's one of them right now for sure, that it's it's changed your outlook of hope and expectations from what we're used to having for sure.
Yeah,
But this is the team that can change it around. I mean, I really what I would like to see. We've been asking for this all season, and we just haven't gotten it quite to the level. I want Darren Peterson to go freaking do what AJ DeBonce is doing. Like we've been waiting for that. Just go out there and just 40 bomb, 30 bomb back to back nights. Just prove you're the best player on the court and let us watch you carry this team through March to a Final Four. That's what I'd like to see.
I
Now,
said it
do
like
we need Darren to be that to get to March to get to
no.
Final Four? I don't think so because I do think this team's talented. Flory's fantastic. Melvin's great. Trey White's been awesome the last week or so. So this team like has the ability that if Darren's struggling, because they have at least played enough now with Darren back on the court to kind of work some of that rhythm out. But man, could you just imagine how fun it would be for Darren to just go out and drop 40 like it's nothing?
I might just have to take back every negative thing I've said about him if that happens. I've gotten to the point though where I've said, I can't remember, I feel like I've said it on the podcast before, but I'm at the point where it's darn near national title or bust, or Final Four or bust, in terms of being happy that Darren Peterson came to Kansas and put our jersey on and played some games for our team. Like he has been such a polarizing guy. He's been fun when he's been on, and he's been the biggest headache when he's been sitting out, not massaging his cramps or whatever, just all these things, everything. We could talk for hours on the Darren Peterson saga
We
at
have.
KU. We have. And unfortunately, at this point, it's like I don't even care how he finished the season. I mean, I've just seen so much negativity around him, and now he's been hurting. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying he's not going to be the number one draft pick anymore. rightfully
Man,
so.
it's hard to argue not taking Devonta right now. The way he's playing,
Yeah,
the comments he's had post game about playing 40, like he's doing literally everything his team needs without Richie Saunders to carry them through, and it's been impressive. But let me ask you this,
yeah.
and those of you watching live now, chat, Twitter, if you're watching later, put your thoughts in the comments too about this. Is there a game we have to reach for you to feel a game we have to reach but still lose to feel comfortable with the season? Like what is it first weekend, second weekend, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Final Four? Like what is the cutoff for after this is all said and done? We can look back and go, we feel okay with the end result. Like what does that end result have to be to justify the season? Like, I mean, obviously every year it's always national championship or bust, Final Four bust. We
For
get
sure.
that, but like last year's teams, there was no expectation of them going further. So like you were already disappointed before March even started. So like,
I was.
what is that cutoff for you before you're like, man, this
Yeah.
because I was listening to one of the other two podcasts we're talking about. They're like, well, what if KU looks really good in Big 12 tournament and then they go and drop the second game against a team that they should beat? Like, that's no different than how the last two seasons
I'm
ended.
not going to feel
Is that going to change your outlook or your reflection back on the season?
I think a lot of it comes down to how we finish in March, and it's difficult. I've always been a proponent of somebody who would um, think that generally you should play to where your seed is. You know, if you end up being a 4 seed, then you're expected to lose in the Sweet 16. If you make it as a 3 seed, you're expected to lose in the Sweet 16. The ones and twos theoretically should make
Should
it
be
to the
making
Elite
your
Eight.
Elite Eight at least, yeah.
So, given the fact that we are fighting for a 3 seed and more than likely going to be a 4 seed, you would think my answer is, hey, we make it to the Sweet 16, we're good. Um, I am. I think we are 2 seed material at our best, and
Agreed.
so we've just lost some really stupid
Steve.
games. So if we could just go back in time and win those games like we should have, I really think we are at our core a 2 seed. When all has been said and done at the end of the season, I don't think we're a top. We're probably not a top 5 team in the nation, but we should be in that 6 to 8 range at our very best. And so, therefore, I would say if we make the Elite Eight and lose, I'm okay. Even though it's like,
Same.
oh, we can
Yep.
taste the Final Four. I'd be okay. I'd be like, hey, Elite Eight, success.
That's where I'm at. I think you have to get to Elite Eight with the caliber of talent this team has.
Yeah.
Elite Eight. Austin, welcome.
Hi.
Joining us from Wichita, covering the high school basketball tournaments down there. How you doing?
I'm tired. I've called 7 basketball games in 48 hours. So my brain feels like mashed potatoes right now.
You're doing the AJ DeBonsa work right now, and you're just carrying the broadcast team.
I am.
Back-to-backs.
I've been carrying the entire operation. I've had to teach people how to do the production stuff because I haven't done every single game, but everybody's using my equipment, so I have to give everybody the rundown of how to do things, and it's exhausting. And there have been a couple of times already where my boss would text me like, "Hey, the scoreboard's not right," or something's wrong with the cameras. I don't know, but it's every time like when I'm not calling the game or doing anything, like something bad happens, and I'm just like, of course. So.
Well, here's where we're at right now, and I'm glad this is a good time for you to jump in because I want to go back to some of the reflection of the season.
Yeah.
Give a quick Big 12 tournament expectations and predictions for KU.
I have.
Yes, yeah. Then we'll.
Yeah.
Then I'll get we'll jump back in the conversation JB and I are having.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, I love that we're a 3 seed. Shout out to BYU for beating Tech. I was happy.
Shout out to Tech for dropping 2 straight.
Yeah, shout out to Tech. Good job, guys. I was actually happy BYU.
Tech fan over here. Tech fan.
You're pointing at Keegan. What are you talking about?
I'm pointing at you. What are you talking about? I'm in the middle.
Y-
Dude, from what
Oh,
I've seen,
is on your screen. Austin's on your left.
I'm yeah.
No, that's back.
He's
Yeah.
he's to
Well,
my
yeah,
right.
it's
What are you talking
backwards
about?
because I'm backwards and you guys are in position. But
Whatever.
So us being a 3 seed is huge. I'm not quite sure who we play tomorrow unless that game is still going
It's
on.
going on right now. Oklahoma State was up at half. They're up 62-57, just under the 16-minute timeout.
Okay, well, I'll have to turn it on here after this episode ends. But I had a couple of thoughts. I think KU can make the championship game, but realistically speaking, I think they'll probably make the semifinal and lose to Houston. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, if KU beats Houston in the semis, they're winning the whole thing.
Really? I don't know about that.
I mean, I know it may not really sound realistic. I have Arizona or Houston winning. Now, obviously, there's people that are reminding me like, oh, you have the top 2 seeds winning the whole thing. I mean, yeah, they're both good. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, because when we won the Big 12 last time, we won the Big 12 tournament. Just because Arizona won the regular season title doesn't mean that they're just going to give up and be like, whatever. We'll get ready for the NCAA tournament. I don't really buy that. So it'll either be Arizona or Houston that goes on that wins the whole thing. That could be the championship game. But
see, I've got Iowa State upsetting Arizona tomorrow night.
That could happen too. I mean, Iowa State's had a pretty good run in the Big 12 tournament lately, and their fans have.
I'm sorry. I guess Iowa State has to play Texas Tech. I keep forgetting today's still Wednesday.
Yeah,
so I was wrong. Iowa State beats Tech tomorrow, beats Arizona Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I have Iowa State beating Texas Tech just because Tech already beat Iowa State, and I think it's going to be difficult for Tech to beat them again. Now, they did beat them without JT Toppin, but I think Iowa State's going to be angry, and they'll.
Well, and their fans show up for the Big 12 tournament all the time. Yeah. So the next question with Big 12 tournament, then JB and I were talking that for NCAA tournament, ideally the 3 seed for the NCAA tournament would be best for our path, avoiding the 1 seeds. I feel like the 2 seeds, the 3 seeds, and the 4 seeds are all pretty interchangeable right now on paper. But if you're that 3 seed, you get to avoid, the 1 for a while, which is anybody that's on the 3-4 line would rather be the 3 and avoid the 1 seed. What do you think needs to happen? And do they have to get to Big 12 championship? Can they make it to the semifinals and lose and still get a 3 seed? What impacts that?
Oh, that's a great question. I think if they lose in the semis, depending on how that game goes, I could still see them being a 3 seed. But if they make the championship, I think they're locked in for the 3 seed.
I think it's a pretty good shot. That's what I was saying. It's a pretty good shot that they make the 3 seed if they make the championship of Big 12. I think they guarantee a 3 seed if they win the Big 12 championship. I think 2 seed is not happening at all, no matter what. And we got to have that 3 seed if we want to have a chance at a deep run.
Jack, it says stuck as a 4 seed unless we win the tournament.
I honestly,
it could be the case. It just, I think, depends on how these other conference tournaments go and how much the committee plays into the importance of conference tournaments for the teams that are already guaranteed spots. Like teams that are like a UCF, for example, Cincinnati needed a deep Big 12 run to get into the tournament. Like it's much more. I think the committee looks at that much more than like Arizona. If Arizona goes and loses to UCF tomorrow night, is the committee going to take them from a 1 seed to a 2 seed? No. But like Kansas being a 3-4 seed has a little bit more to gain. Iowa State as well has more to gain winning the tournament than Houston or Arizona. It's like that remains to be seen. What's the committee going to take into consideration from postseason tournaments that are going to factor into their overall ranking?
We have to think about the weight that the committee will put into Quad 1A wins. As we've been saying it all season, KU is what are we, like one of 5 teams, I think, that have like 6 Quad 1A wins.
Yeah, well, Chris Reynolds several years ago said that didn't matter and that Houston had the best losses compared to KU's Quad 1
I remember
wins.
that, and that made
them the 1 seed. Yeah, make no sense at all.
Pissed me off. dude. I was so mad.
Well, they lost games, but like they looked really good in those losses, and they looked better than KU having more quad one win. Like, yeah,
Well, back then they didn't have Quad 1A, and now they do.
Yeah.
So they're clearly putting some kind of like importance on Quad anything, Quad 1, Quad 2. And now that we got Quad 1A, it's like, man, and we're one of the 5 teams in the nation with the most Quad 1A victories, and we're on the 3 line at
have the-
best.
I think they're
What?
still the toughest strength of schedule in the country too. We're still top 3 at least. So
Could be.
that's gonna matter. But okay, moving forward, back to the conversation JB and I were having. Austin, we're gonna jump forward and then we're gonna jump back to the season.
Okay.
However the season ends, how far does KU need to go in the NCAA tournament for you to feel satisfied with the end result of the season? So, like, if KU makes it to a Sweet 16 and loses, do you feel good about the season? What is that game cut off for you to where you can look back weeks from now, months from now, and go, man, this season was a disappointment because of where we lost, or hey, we didn't reach the ultimate goal, but I'm good with the end result. Like, what is that cut off? JB and I both said they have to make it to an Elite Eight game.
Oh yeah, I agree with that too. That's
Anything less than Elite
was
Eight is
gonna say.
disappointing.
I mean, if they make the Sweet 16, depending upon who they play, if it's close and it's a really good team, then I wouldn't be upset. Now, if it's against a team that I have never heard of, from the Northeast or whatever, and we lose that game in the Sweet 16, then obviously, yeah, it's going to be a disappointment. But I just want Kansas to get out of the first round this year.
Make it to the second weekend, please.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking for. Of course, we want to make the Final Four. Of course, we want to make the national championship because we hold our program to a very high standard. But an Elite Eight for me would, be sufficient for me to look back on the season and go, yeah, that was a good year.
If I want to put a little bit more optimism, because I've kind of been like negative Nancy over here, but like if I want to be like, do some optimistic JB for a little bit. If we end up being a 4 seed, it's not going to be the end of the world if we inevitably get to a matchup with a 1 seed in the Sweet 16, because we've actually done pretty well against some top teams. Like, we have proven this season that we can beat the best of them. We beat Arizona, undefeated at the time, without Derek Peterson. I would almost there's a sliver of like comfortability with if we end up getting the 4 seed and then we end up going in the Sweet 16 matchup against a 1 seed, whichever 1 seed it is, I'm going to start to feel like kind of good. I don't know, but like it still scares me because you know what? If we lose that game, I guess it was expected, but I'm going to be mad that we could have won that game, and I'm still going to have a sour taste in my mouth. It's at the at the end.
You have to win the games you're the higher seed in. If you lose a game where you're the lower seeded, it won't sting as much.
For sure.
Austin will not be at Big 12 tournament this weekend because you were covering state tournaments.
All right, well, thumbs up for that. I've been to the Big 12 tournament for 4 years in a row now. So I don't want to say I'm Big 12 tournamented out, but I kind of am because
the last couple of years for KU have been quite disappointing, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, well, instead of being in Kansas City, I'm in scenic Salina, Kansas right now. I go to Wichita in the morning, so that'll be cool. I've never been to Charles Cook Arena. That's where I'll be calling my next however many games in these next 3 days, all the way up to Saturday. So
there's a lot of good food menu items, and I know the guys over on Ain't No Seats talked a lot about the food menu. Big J's mac and cheese being one of those.
Oh, yeah. I had that last year because I think
the reviews I've heard is it's pretty good, but not very much food. Like it's a relatively small portion for a lot of money, which makes sense. I mean, that's how all these are. Okay, let's go back to the season. So we've done a little bit of predictions, expectations. Once we have a better picture of the brackets, then we'll obviously dive into more of that over the next oncoming days. But I do want to reflect a little bit back on the season. Austin, we talked earlier. Flory wins Defensive Player of the Year for Big 12, rightfully so. I think has a potential to be a second-team All-American, finalist for Defensive Player of the Year across the country.
Agreed.
I think despite him missing a lot of games, Darren Peterson still has a chance to be an All-American, at least honorable mention. I do think he will get hurt from being hurt and missing games. Melvin Council wins Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. Gets snubbed from the all Big 12 teams. I was kind of surprised by that. Trey White also doesn't make it. We talked about Jaden Bradley winning Big 12 Player of the Year.
What a joke, man. I don't care. That is a joke. That is a joke. I almost crashed out when I saw Trey White didn't even get anything. Not even an honorable mention. And then I watched Bill Self's press conference yesterday, and he was talking about how there were so many players with 16 teams, and there was probably one coach out of the 15 that didn't think Trey White was a top 20 player. Well, I'd like to know who that coach is.
Yeah.
Because that's probably whoever he scored the most against.
Like, what was we talked about it, like with so many teams going to a 10-man all Big 12 first team. Like, again, personally, I don't like it because that's not traditionally how it's done, but I get it with that many teams. But to not have Trey White or Melvin Council as a top, Melvin Council more so than Trey White to me, as not a top 15 player in the league. Again, who do you take off? I thought because TCU and UCF finished lower in the conference, or Baylor, Cameron Carr had a good year, but Baylor was bad. Like, you should give the nod to, if we're going to give the nod to Jaden Bradley for being on the best team in the Big 12 for Big 12 Player of the Year, shouldn't Melvin get the nod to second team Big 12 for being on the third best team in the conference and having a better statistical season than some of these other guys? So that's why I didn't like it. But who's, like, to me, it's AJ DeBonsa. He was Big 12 Player of the Year. Best player in the conference by far, night in, night out, consistently. Had Darren Peterson played more and KU finished first, he probably would have gotten it. I don't know where he fell as far as voting for Big 12 Player of the Year, but that was the only frustrating thing for me. But as we look back at the season as a whole, let's go through some of the positives. Favorite game of the year?
Yikes.
There's a few to choose
from. There's some good ones. Arizona seems like an obvious one, beating them at home.
I was going to say Arizona.
The Iowa State blowout, another fun one. The comeback against TCU late.
The one that first came to my mind was BYU because of the hype between Darren versus
going into
AJ.
I mean, like, the comeback at Texas Tech was pretty good. I was also going to mention the Houston game because I went to that game and it was pretty good. It's probably not up there for.
I didn't have Houston as a finalist because it wasn't like we shut them down, but like from KU's perspective, I didn't think it was a very like pretty performance from like Darren played poorly. Flory struggled for a while. It wasn't a very like pretty game, but I mean defensively, my gosh, probably one of the best all-around defensive games against the top team KU's had in a long time, and Flory being the main reason for that. But to me, I think Arizona kind of became a turning point because you saw them do it without Darren. We know what they were capable of doing with Darren, but for them to go and do that last second at home, obviously the best home court advantage in the country in any sport, to do that without Darren Peterson at home was impressive. So to me, that's the game I circle as like best win, best game. But I think Tech's right there. That was a huge win on the road. I know they didn't have Christian Anderson, but big. The point is, there a lot more big fun moments this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say the Arizona game, and just because of the fact that we found out Darren Peterson wasn't going to play 10 minutes before tip, and like the fact that the team got together and they were like, you know what, F it, let's just go out there and do this thing, and they did. I mean, then that game didn't start off very well either. I mean, it was a really bad start for us, and then we caught fire midway through the first half and made it close and pulled away in the second. Allen Fieldhouse won that game, though. I will say that. I mean, as impressive as that performance was, I think if it had not been for Allen Fieldhouse and that game played there, I don't know if we would have won.
Allen Fieldhouse as a whole fan base, student section, had one of its best seasons in several years.
I agree.
And again, it helps when you have a fun team to watch and a team that plays well, first off. But yeah, that game, the TCU comeback, the Iowa State game, like crowd was such a huge factor. I mean, even UConn, you could have won. Crowd, big factor for that. So those are the ones that stand out to me. How about best individual performance of the year?
Melvin Council against NC State.
Most impressive, I would say.
I mean, that's
like Flory has to be in this conversation.
Yeah, Flory's game. Flory's had several monster games this year where he just had so many games where you look at the stat sheet and you're like, all right, 18 and 12 on 9 of 11 shooting. And the amount of blocks he had. But yeah, Flory's game against Arizona, second half, just came out of nowhere. Darren's first half against BYU, I think, is up there. His final 5 minutes against Texas Tech, I think, are up there.
I think his first few minutes against Oklahoma State are up there too until he subbed himself out.
Yeah. I like how we can't just say a full game of Darren Peterson.
Well, I mean, his best full game, I think, is probably K-State this last week.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, like that's the best. That was the best before. I mean, he saved the best for last, I guess.
That's what we said earlier. It was his best all-around complete game he's played all season.
Was the NC State game for Melvin? Was it after that game that all the crowd started like barking? Was that what started the bark?
I think they were barking all along, but that
was
definitely
it all season long. I don't know, and I feel like he had to have done something for them to be like.
I mean, that changed because coming up to that point, Melvin had been struggling to start the year.
I feel like it was that game then.
He'd kind of gone through a couple of games where he wasn't really doing a ton yet, and then, all right, Melvin, you're not a good 3-point shooter. Go out and beat us. I mean, that game was so wild. I mean, Darren score 20 in the first half, 22 in the first half, and then doesn't come out, and then Melvin scores like 22 in the second half or 25 or something like that to get to hit. What do you have? 36? 39.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Like that might be most
9 threes.
Most impressive individual performance because you have both of those things happen in the same game. 2 20-point half scores is unheard of from a Bill Self team.
There's a lot to choose from, but I think, I mean, it came to mind first, but I think Melvin Council's game against NC State is.
I do like individual performance like this. Again, you're not really thinking statistically for Flory, but what he did to slow down Devonta and Toppin, switching onto them, making their life miserable. I was thinking about this today. Where do you think Flory ranks defensively against some of the other KU players that have won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, like Jeff Withey, Cole Aldrich won it back-to-back years, Marcus Garrett. Did Udoka win it?
I feel like he deserved it. If he didn't,
even if he didn't win it, definitely up there as one of the best defensive. His senior year, one of the best defensive seasons we've seen. Like, yeah, where do you think Flory ranks in that regard?
I think from a center perspective, from blocks and just like guarding the other team's big,
DeJuan Harris. Thank you, Bob.
It's difficult because you might say he wasn't as like intimidating or dominant as Udoka. I don't think he's at that level.
From a shot blocking standpoint?
From the shot blocking, from
the physical size, sure.
I have never seen a big like Flory guards on the perimeter ever. Like with how good he is, I feel like if you take his entirety of his game, he's the best. Jeff Withey stayed inside. Udoka stayed inside. These guys stayed inside. Flory has gotten out in space and been just as effective and more than serviceable on the post. So for me, I'm just
Well, and I think when you see a
bias, but
True. When you see a big man do it too, it's more impressive. Like DeJuan Harris, really good on-ball defender. That was an expectation for him to do that. Travis Relford, great wing defender back in 2012, 2013. Expected him to do that. When you see a big man do what Flory did this year, I think that's just more impressive because you don't expect that. Now, the game is different than it was 10, 12 years ago. Cole Aldrich, dominated the paint defensively. Jeff Withey dominated the paint defensively. Um, it wasn't until the last couple of years that you've really seen college bigs rotate and guard on the perimeter as much as we have. Even Udoka switched a little bit his senior year and looked good in space, but yeah, I think Flory probably runs away with that for sure. Is best all around defensive season, at least most impressive. I think Marcus Garrett, DeJuan Harris, and Mario Chalmers individually had 3 really, really, really good seasons defensively, locking down the perimeter. But Flory's has been just so, because again, we were talking about Austin, the Houston game at home.
Mhm.
How much of that game, like Houston played bad, but a lot of that was because of the way Flory was defending and switching, that they couldn't get anything. Like they got nothing because Flory was just all over, shut them down completely. BYU game, same thing. So yeah, I definitely put that up there.
I mean, go ahead, Keegan. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. I was going to transition. So if you have another thought, go for it.
Oh no, I remember how that game kind of played out. Houston started off really well, and then defensively we shut them down to end the first half. I believe we went up by 2. It was like 29-27 at that point, and then we just took and ran off with it in the second half. Sorry, I'm stuttering.
DeJuan Harris in the second half of the national championship game might be the best individual defensive performance that's had the biggest impact, because arguably so it wins you the national championship. But as far as full season, yeah, Flory's up there. How about favorite moments, or the moments that you're gonna remember the most from this season, that stand out the most? Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's the best moment.
That might be one of the best moments.
That's my favorite moment of the year. Him doing the Wabash at K-State.
I wasn't looking, so I was
that's
like,
gonna be on every highlight reel of this
Forever.
season. Melvin's gonna be forever. What's the word I'm looking for? That's gonna be in the starting lineup. Dream on videos down the road. I think.
Oh yeah. I don't know if they put that in the little hype video before tip off, but I hope they did. That's what I meant to ask people that, to those who went to the game, like, did they show Melvin doing the Wabash on the jumbo?
Bob's got to go in here. Yeah, which one's better, the Melvin Wabash or the belt to ass in the locker room after the Iowa State whooping?
It was
him barking, him running to the taking videos with the students after games. Melvin's incredible, man.
You know what? I have a little honorable mention. It was the K-State game at home, and during halftime, I tweet out something that said along the lines of, well, it would be crazy if Wilder Evers hit a 3-pointer to break the 100-point mark.
And he did.
And here's the thing. Like, I thought it was legitimate, because it was shaping to be a 100-point game for KU, and I thought Wilder would probably get subbed in the final few minutes, and I was like, wouldn't it be crazy? And then I'm like watching the game, Wilder gets in the left wing, I'm like, oh my god, please, and then he makes it, and I'm like, oh my god, I start freaking out. It made my whole day.
I think Darren's dunk against BYU on the putback on his missed shot, definitely stands out. Flory's had so many monster dunks this year. You could pick a handful of those.
I think the one that he had against K-State on the road was pretty good. I really enjoyed that one. I think that's when KU took over in that game.
The emotional excitement from Bill Self after beating Arizona at home, like never seen that. From
him. Just seeing him, go and everything, like it just did.
Yeah, it gives you the Missouri,
right?
The Missouri vibes from 2012.
Yeah, or Melvin's screw you dunk against Mizzou, and that was awesome. I mean,
we've had a couple of those this year because Trey White had 2 of those in Big 12 play. Didn't we do it at K-State? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Trey White dunked it, and Bill Self was
with the Wabash. Yeah,
he wasn't mad. He had to pretend to be mad to make himself look better to drum Tang. Kind of miss him.
Bob's 100%. Melvin is Mr. Jayhawk. Like,
yes,
we need to break the KU rule. Like, Melvin should go in the rafters. If KU
100%
makes it to a Final Four, we got to find some way to rig it. Melvin's 1 year. You could argue like there are few players in the Bill Self era. Like if we did a draft at the end of this year of Bill Self era players that like best represent Kansas basketball as an individual, Melvin's on that team.
Yeah.
Melvin, Devontae, Frank, T-Rob.
I'm gonna get emotional on these guys. Oh man.
Like Melvin, just the way he took over this fan base this year from the start. I mean, all the way back to preseason with
I was all over him like, during the summertime, like when he was like posting videos on his Instagram stories, and then him being, saying the quote, "You want to be a dog." Like I was sold on him then, and I knew he was going to be a special player for us and a guy that we've been missing for the past 2 years, and that stood correct.
Yeah, I can so picture this. I don't know DeJuan personally. I don't know what his leadership style was like in practices, but could you imagine Melvin letting half the crap go on that happened the last 2 years if he was here?
No.
Like he would have beat Hunter Dickinson into the court about some of the things he was doing. He would have smacked Rylan Griff around, yelled at AJ in front of everyone. Like he would have whipped that team together. And they might have actually been something with a guy like Melvin.
There would have been like 10 player meetings for each season. I mean,
players only meeting, you could argue one of the most impactful moments of the year.
Yeah, because that's what started the 8-game winning streak. We start our winning streak against Iowa State, and we end the streak against Iowa State.
Joe Dooley's DUI also lined up, or the return from his DUI also lined up with.
And when he came back, KU was a lot better. So I don't know. But
let's see what else from the season that we want to touch on. I guess like which loss on the year would you like back the most?
Arizona State.
Yeah, well, Doug Sermons was officiating that game, so there was no way in hell we were going to lose that game or win that game. Excuse me. I didn't realize how bad Doug Sermons was until I saw him eject.
Well, think about it this way: we used to have. It's been years now. All at the same time, we had Doug Sermons, Kelly Self, and John Higgins as a three-man crew, all at the same time.
I mean, another loss that I would love to have back would probably be the UCF game. But at the same time, UCF's, like in January, they're pretty good. I saw that they beat Cincinnati in overtime while I was doing my game. So I knew that game was going to be close. I didn't expect it to go in overtime, but apparently Cincinnati choked in the final 2 minutes. Is that right?
I didn't catch the end of it.
You didn't? Okay. Well, I saw Cincinnati fans on social media crashing out about it and saying that Wes Miller shouldn't be allowed back in Cincinnati. You guys beat Kansas this year. I mean, like.
Yeah, the UCF on the road is one that stands out to me. West Virginia. The Cincinnati one, like I'd like that back, but we looked so bad in that. Like it was never close in the second half. Like legitimately close.
I wish we beat UConn too, because we were up at one point in like late in the second half, and we just let UConn take over in the final.
Yeah, UConn's the one that I think I circle as could have done it. We never touched on this, I don't think, in the last couple of weeks, but we talked about in our group chat. Which trip was worse, the Arizona trip this year or the Utah trip last year?
Honestly, I would say the Utah trip last year was worse.
You didn't get the comments this year of this team just doesn't like each other. They need to get away from each other.
Yeah, that's like when you're saying that in the middle of February, like that's not a good sign. And what really encouraged me, though, because I know people are talking about Bill Self's future. I don't mean to go off a tangent here, but he was like, he was telling one of the reporters, "Hey, listen, if I didn't, if I wasn't excited about March in the postseason, I would quit." And I am super excited about postseason play starting. obviously tomorrow. But
Yeah.
but that comment really stood out to me. I don't think Bill's going to leave like after
Well, yeah,
this season.
let's just go straight into that. I mean, he talked with Matt Orlander this week on CBS,
Yeah,
and Matt basically asked him, "Hey, you still got a couple of years left in you, right?" And he's like, "I love this. My health hasn't prevented me from doing it. As long as I feel well, I enjoy this too much to quit." So
yeah.
I'm personally still on the. I think he's got at least 3 seasons left. Where are you guys on that? And what would at this point what would take Bill Self? Like what would have to happen for Bill Self to go? Oh man, I'm
A
done.
heart attack.
You think because that's right? I think it's
Him.
physical.
I mean, he wasn't. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been excited about March the last 2 years, just based on how the team performed in the regular season. But I think this year kind of reignited the fire in him to be excited about postseason play. And if he continues to feel that way, he's going to coach. And that I think when he feels like he doesn't, care about the postseason anymore, like he'll step away.
Yeah, and he's
That'll be a long time from now.
competitive. He's
Maybe
too
not.
competitive to get to that level.
I've
And
said
again,
for the
like
longest
this,
time, I think
this was the first. I want to say this was the first or second off season that we didn't have the investigational crap hanging over us for recruiting. So he hasn't been able to recruit at the same level for the last almost 10 years now, 7, 8 years. So like that alone, you can tell as much frustration Darren brought him this year, being able to coach a talent like that, and then having the recruiting class he has coming in next year. Like I don't see the end of the road being that soon. He's too competitive to go out unless we just completely fall apart again next weekend and have another early exit, depending on how that game goes. I still think he's got at least one more year. Like you wouldn't leave unless we go out and win the national championship. Like if we go out and win the national championship, you could argue that's when he should walk away because you go out on top, but very few coaches do that because you're like, well, we're at the top. We got to keep it going. We can do it again next year. But yeah, I'm on team 3+ years still out of Bill.
I'm moving that way.
That's the case.
I mean, I don't know.
Like as I kind of look at the coaching pool, all the teams in the conference. I mean, like guys like Nate Oates, Tommy Lloyd, those are coaches I would love to see, be the next, Kansas head coach. Maybe not Tommy Lloyd because of his age, but I could see Nate Oates probably in 3+ years from now if Alabama.
Nate Oates is older than Tommy Lloyd.
Is he really? Oh, I didn't
Nate
know
Oates
that.
is in his 50s.
Oh, okay. Well, then
he just
I don't know.
Younger. Tommy Lloyd's Tommy Lloyd and Todd Golden are the two younger guys.
I'm not high on Todd Golden. I know he's doing a good job at Florida, but like I don't see that possibility working out at KU.
I just don't
personally. I know people are going to disagree with me on that, but
I mean, obviously they looked really good last year. I totally get win a national championship, but they need to show they're not a one-hit wonder, and they're having a good year this year, of course, too. But I was talking with some guys this morning. I could also see a scenario where Jacques Vaughn's not the next head coach.
Yeah.
I know it all feels like that, but I think if Bill's coaching at least another 3 seasons, Jacques already into his 50s. For some reason, I don't see Jacques staying around long. And it's not that I think he's going to leave, but if it's another 3 to 4 years until Bill retires, I don't see Jacques being the next guy because he'd already be into his mid-50s. And how long does he want to coach at the collegiate level? Like, I think it'd be more likely that Jacques were to leave and go back to the NBA as an assistant coach or as a scout in the front office. The Spurs, Popovich moving out finally, the Spurs call him up and have him come back into their front office somewhere. Like, I see that scenario.
Sure.
Becoming more likely than Jacques Vaughn being the next head coach, because for some reason it just doesn't feel like the way KU's traditionally done it is that's a long tenured coach.
Yeah,
I think Larry Brown had one of the shortest tenures in the last 50 years, essentially, because we've had 25+ year guys almost 20 years. Jacques just doesn't seem like a long-term coach at Kansas, and I don't know if I'd even want that because there'd be nothing more frustrating than one of your all-time greats coaching his alma mater and then going through a struggle phase. Like, you just don't
Yeah.
want to see that happen. And the longer you're coaching, the more likely that is to happen, especially with the landscape. I mean, the Big 12 is not getting weaker anytime soon. It's going to get harder to recruit with NIL and all that, the way it's going. So, I don't know.
I will say
Hold on
this,
a tangent,
though. I'll say this, like, whenever the job opens up, whenever that happens, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, however long, I mean, I think Kansas is the most attractive job in college basketball. I mean, you're talking about a program with a lot of history, a program that, soon enough will be the all-time, leading, program in wins, if they could surpass Kentucky anytime soon.
I think
They could do that next year, but
4 wins behind right now.
Something like that. I mean, you're talking about, coaching, 5-star kids and leading one of the historic programs in college basketball, and the resources that KU basketball has. Like, I think it's the most attractive job. I could be biased, but when you look at it, I think Kansas, will be the most attractive job. And I do believe that they could go out and get anybody that they want, but obviously it's a money, matter. So they'd have to figure that out.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll table that conversation for more, because I don't want to see the end of Bill anytime soon. Every time we talk about it, just makes me go back to JB's rant last year of "You're done, you're done, goodbye."
You're done.
I think, though, had Bill Self figured out a way to win the Big 12 this year, to me, he would have been National Coach of the Year, I think.
And I don't mean to sound that, I've tempered the expectations for KU. I think it's reasonable, but the fact that KU, bounced back this year and finished top 3 in the conference, I'm honestly pretty happy with that. Now, I would have been more happier if we won the Big 12. I wouldn't have been happy if we finished second, because that's one spot right behind winning the Big 12. I mean, but, it's going to get a lot harder for, us to win the Big 12 outright. I think Arizona and Houston were great additions, and all the other teams are going to be competing for the Big 12 too. I mean, it's not just going to be Arizona and Houston for the next, however many years.
Yeah,
I mean,
we kind of started off the episode with that of, finishing as the 3rd team in the Big 12. You feel pretty good considering the way the whole season went without Darren for a chunk of it. Arizona, Houston being as good as they are, the fact that KU still managed to finish 3rd when they were projected to finish 5th or 6th, you feel good, but you could also then look at the schedule and go, man, they easily could have finished 2nd if you take 2 more of those games back. And honestly, they had a legitimate shot at tying Arizona to win the Big 12, because you go back, you take the West Phog game on the road, you take UCF on the road, there's 2 back, you're only 2 back of Arizona at that point, and then you're coin flip of you show up against Cincinnati, you beat Arizona State. You could have finished with just 2 losses, but
yeah, I think Cincinnati put the icing on the cake. That it was the point where I was like, okay, we're not going to win the Big 12. I thought we were completely out of the Big 12 race after the first 3 conference games, and I even said after the West Virginia game that we were eliminated from winning the Big 12. And I was wrong for a little bit, but it stood correct, unfortunately. I really wanted to be proven wrong, but it's okay.
That's really all I have for now. Do you guys have any other season thoughts you want to bring up, or points we haven't touched on about the season or Big 12 tournament?
No, I just hope KU does well in the Big 12 tournament, and hopefully they do end up getting a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. So I'm very excited about Selection Sunday, and I hope we go somewhere cool as well. Somewhere where there will be a solid Jayhawk alumni base. Maybe.
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of DC talk, which is nowhere close. But it would be a
fans out there.
A bracket that's relatively favorable. One bracket I saw today was all blue bloods in the Northeast. You had Duke as the 1 seed, Michigan State as the 2 seed, KU is the 3 seed, UConn is the 3 seed, KU is the 4 seed. I was like, oh, blue blood central.
God, that would suck.
That'd be a nightmare. But
those are teams you could actually decently match up well with. I haven't really dove into the bracket projections much yet.
Me neither. I mean, if we played UConn again, I think we would probably beat them as long as Darren Peterson plays for the majority of the game. I could see that happening.
But yeah, we'll wrap up here then. Definitely plan on having bracket reaction conversations on the pod over the next couple days. We may or may not be doing some fun stuff Sunday. As soon as I know details, I will let everybody know. But plan on something from us as a reaction to the bracket preview. We'll probably have your bracket reactions and then a preview later in the week. We'll go through our predictions, expectations, all that kind of stuff. If for any reason we decide to record live while Sunday's going on, we can get into teams we want to avoid in the bracket for sure. But we'll get there. This is a good debate for another time. But UConn, is it a blue blood? Is it not? I think UConn and Villanova are two teams you can put in the same boat of. They've had really bad seasons in the last 25 years, but they've also won a lot of national championships in the last 25 years. That's a good debate. But anyway, make sure you guys are subscribed. Checking us out, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at KCSA Pod. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed, don't know what you're doing with your life, might as well subscribe. Send it to a buddy or two buddies or three. We'd appreciate that. And let's see how this weekend goes. Big 12 tournament. Darren Peterson locked in, goes out and dominates. KU goes on a run. Why not win 8 straight? Or I guess 9 straight.
Oh, man.
Right? 9 straight? Yeah, 3 Big 12 games and then
Yep.
6 in March. So
Didn't we go 9 straight when we won the national championship? Or did we go 8 straight?
8.
We went 8
Because
straight.
we had the double bye.
That's true.
I
Did we play because how many games? It's 6, right?
Yeah, 6 NCAA tournament games.
I think we
So
went
they
on
won-
the
yeah,
streak.
They
then.
won at least 8 straight. It might have been 9. I can't remember if they played in the
They-
quarterfinal.
They did. They played West Virginia in the quarterfinal.
Yes, they won
and
9
then
straight.
TCU in the semi, and then Tech in the final.
Shoot, they might have won if you go back to the season.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Let's
they
wrap
could do
it
it.
up.
We could do it. All right. We'll call it there.
Yeah.
It's been an hour and a
Subscribe,
half
review.
for me.
I didn't even realize that.
Let's wrap it up.
Rock Chalk, goodbye.